one thing we were talking about before is the content. Like when I first started, I was just creating a lot of content about the industry, and it was just like everywhere, and it like no purpose. And then I started creating these, like, we called them content rocks. And so now when I'm creating content, I'm creating it for various reasons. So like I'll take the 20 CallRail videos and I want to sell them. So I'm going to sell them somewhere somehow. I haven't created them yet. And then I'm also going to use them as training for my company. And then I'm also using them in this email. And so the same videos live on YouTube. And actually the content I'm going to sell is all going to be fully available on my YouTube channel, but it'll just be in like a more organized format. So, but the training component also for my employees internally, like I wasn't really thinking about, every time something comes up at ParaCore, I write it down and then I film a video, and then it goes on YouTube, and then it goes in our internal trainual for Chris Ronzio fans out there.
I'm Shayna. I love dogs, I trip a lot, and I happen to have a knack for making pretty sweet videos for businesses. But the more videos we made, the more questions I got about how video and other content can be leveraged to make a bigger impact in their marketing. I mean, 44% of marketers say that producing content is their biggest challenge, yet content marketing is 62% less expensive than outbound and produces 3 times more leads. Now, I know a lot, but I certainly don't know it all, so I made it my mission to talk with content kings, queens, and bosses to learn as much as I could about crushing content marketing, and I'm taking you along with me. Welcome to the Content Coalition. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Content Coalition. Today I am here with Adam Arkfeld of ParaCore. They are a PPC firm here in Phoenix, Arizona. You guys are in Chandler now, right? Chandler, Tempe?
Phoenix.
Now? Oh, it is Phoenix.
Yeah, technically Phoenix.
Technically Phoenix, Arizona. And we're going to talk about rocking some content.
It's like so
I
heavy.
don't know what to do with my mug.
All right, I got
Okay, and we're on.
All right. If you want to redo the intro, we can.
No, I love that.
All
I
right,
think that's
great.
perfect. There's nothing about that I want to change.
Okay.
Okay, so one thing that we were talking about prior was that creating educational content is a little bit tough whenever what you do is not that exciting to your audience, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So let's talk about like PPC and how you were trying to do content, why it wasn't working, and then how it kind of led you into what you're doing now.
Yeah. So earlier last year, 2 years ago, I decided obviously content was a way that I wanted to market. And as I started marketing more, I realized that my target market, being business owners and high-level marketers, didn't really care about the PPC content I was creating.
Right.
So I needed to do something that was more valuable to them instead of just sending them a bunch of PPC content, which just was not valuable. And it took me a while to get there, but I started sending a weekly email that had business advice or tips because they're business owners and marketers. That's more around mindset or like, something that's going on, as far as business owners go. And so that content was a lot more valuable. And so I get a lot more feedback from my list with that content. And then at the bottom of that content, I will link to like a YouTube video or YouTube videos that remind them that I'm the authority in this space. So essentially, I do create the content for PPC, but I don't actually push that it's like a secondary push to my target market, which is business owners and marketers.
Gotcha.
And it took me forever to get there because I'm an idiot.
Well, the problem is, I bet you were just like, I want to tell people how I do what I do so that I'm clearly the authority, and that's the obvious. But when it doesn't work, you got to come up with a plan B. So what types of things were you doing? Video? Were you doing written word? What kind of things were you doing then?
Yeah, so I just started creating a bunch of video content and then realizing that people weren't really reading it. And so that all goes to YouTube. I create all that content, I post it on YouTube, do all the SEO stuff. And then for my actual clients, I'm sending an email once a week. And that's really, and then some social stuff too, but really it's the email and then trying to build that list and then supporting it with the PPC content.
Gotcha.
That's the main stuff.
So some of the stuff that I saw you were doing, I don't know if it worked or if it didn't. I just know what I kept seeing online was you with the teddy bear. Was it the?
Oh yeah.
What was that campaign? Talk about what you were doing there.
Yeah, that was another way to, yeah, that's a good question. So
first of all, what was it? Who were you helping? Like, what were you?
Yeah. All right, so also we were creating all this content, just like blasting it out, right? So when I first started creating, I'm like, oh, here's like AdWords versus Facebook, right? And it was like stupid. It was just like kind of generic and it was everywhere. So then we wanted to focus it around like this idea of like content rocks. So in that case, we used that prop, which is a huge teddy bear wearing a CallRail t-shirt. Yeah. And we created like 12 videos around just the CallRail interface and platform. And so the idea is we're a PPC marketing agency. So anyone that's fairly deep into PPC, not anyone, many people that are fairly deep into PPC are looking for CallRail or looking at Unbounce. And so they're searching for support on those platforms, and then they run across us educating them on those platforms. And so then when they realize that they need help, then they contact us as the authority.
Gotcha. So what is CallRail, just to kind of get some backstory?
Yeah. CallRail's a call tracking and monitoring system that we use a lot in paid media.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And Unbounce is?
Landing page platform.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, landing page builder.
Yeah, I know this. I just don't know if
Yeah.
everybody
No,
knows this.
sorry, yeah.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Continue on.
So that was incredibly valuable. And I would say most of our leads on YouTube most of our leads for ParaCore come from YouTube and our CallRail content.
Okay.
Just
So it works.
very narrowed down. Yeah, it does work,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because people don't really Google like PPC agency, and then the people that are Googling like how to run PPC ads are like usually freelancers or someone that are actually doing them.
Right.
But a lot of times people that are doing it on their own and like crossing the threshold of this is too advanced for me are Googling like how to incorporate CallRail, how to build landing pages with Unbounce. And so then when they see a PPC agency educating them, it's just, then they reach out. It's a natural extension.
Smart. So that was actually a way for you to vet the people who were seeing your content also, because they understand PPC enough to be in that like more advanced stage. So you don't have to like start from scratch.
And I'm not competing, and I'm also not competing against other PPC agencies.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I'm not really competing against anybody. Like, sorry, CallRail, I love you guys, but they don't have any content on YouTube. I think
fill the void,
I literally
right?
think I'm more the authority on YouTube than they are with CallRail because
Sure.
I push so much content out there. And so anyone looking for help with CallRail, which is a large call tracking system, runs across ParaCore all day.
That's awesome.
Very quickly.
So that really worked for you then.
Yeah, that's definitely we're putting more resources into that.
So you're using that not as just like organic search through YouTube and Google. Are you doing any paid behind that, or did you?
We did, yes, we did some discovery ads on YouTube behind that. We recently turned them off, but we'll probably turn them back on. Yeah. So
did you see a dip when you turned them off, or what's the thought behind that?
We saw a dip in traffic. Well, we started getting more organic traffic to our YouTube page.
Yeah.
So we saw a dip in traffic, a big increase in watch time. So we were just investing in some other things to try them out, but I think money's gonna go back to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool. So walk me through the process then of like a good content campaign that you've created that actually like A to Z, they watch, they get hit somehow with it, and then it takes them to you guys.
A good content campaign? Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what we described to a large degree. I mean, basically someone's generally entering our ecosystem through something like a paid ad on Facebook or a paid ad on YouTube or organic YouTube. Like those are kind of the areas where people start to discover us. And then they'll see a video and they'll either see a video on YouTube or we take the exact same videos and put them on our website. So they'll see a video in one of those two places, end up on our website, get a retargeting pixel, and then they'll be followed and nurtured for a while. And at some point, they will generally convert in some way, and then they get dropped on our email list, which then pushes them to business owner email content.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I think that's
right. Yeah,
it.
that's
That
a nice
basically
little
covers it.
journey.
Yeah.
What's your nurture campaign look like?
Right now, it's just those weekly emails.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't built out like a strong value proposition campaign.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So one thing that we are telling everybody at the end of every episode, this is not the end, but I'm just wanting to get it on your brain. It's over. That's it. No. So because it brings up a lot of like other stuff that I have like awesome questions about, because I'm like, oh, tell me more, because I want to implement it, is in the next 48 hours that people are listening, watching, whatever, I want them to be able to implement something that doesn't require like a huge team or anything crazy, but just like a one-step thing that they can actually do in 48 hours that will put them ahead of where they are now in their content. Like, what would you suggest to somebody listening who may be in a situation like where you were in, that's like, the stuff that I do, nobody wants to learn about, but I'm also a valuable asset. How do I make my content push forward?
Bar none, I would say the weekly email to some sort of an email list, it has been totally game changer for me as far as relevancy, staying in front of people. I got an email the other day that one of my emails that I had sent out was forwarded to another group of entrepreneurs that I knew, and then they forwarded an email to me saying like, oh, I didn't know you were such a badass. Like, like kind of sarcastic like that. And that's not the point. The point is that I sent an email out that was shareable enough because it was business strategy. It has nothing to do with PPC. But all the entrepreneurs in that group, a lot of them know who I am. but it made it shareable content, and PPC is like not really shareable content. So I would say the email list, if you have any sort of list or can build any sort of, mine's only 900 people. It's not like you need 20,000. Now my next step is, how do I grow that list as much as possible? Because now I have a relationship with those people every single week. I can ask them to give me feedback, and they most likely will. It has to be every single week.
Okay. How are you going to be building your list moving forward? Like, what's the game plan on that?
Yeah, I don't have an incredibly defined game plan.
Sure.
But it's probably going to be some aspect of, I don't think I'll buy or scrape a list, which I've done with another business. It'll probably be some type of Facebook lead ads, I would guess, because they're super cheap. Or just like some sort of downloadable asset. We're putting together like a 20 video series that's very comprehensive on CallRail. And so it might be, someone opts in to get a portion of those videos, and then they'll get on the list, something like that.
Absolutely. So when I was talking to Will, he was saying that, and I don't know where that episode lands here, but anyway, you'll hear about Will's strategy in a little bit. But he was talking about how the more information he asked for one of his video assets, the more opt-ins he got. He was asking for email, he was getting emails, and then he was like, I'm gonna ask for a phone number to see how this does. He goes, the more fields he put on there that people would have to fill out to his gated content, the more people would opt in.
Yeah, it's like the opposite
of what I was like, I see fields that I need to fill in. I'm like, oh, I don't know. But apparently for him, it was a completely different situation. So that's not a bad way to go with it.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a series that you're creating, and they're like, okay, well, if you want to see video 4, trail it on to be like, and in next week's video, and then.
I hope to sell that series too. So one thing we were talking about before is the content. When I first started, I was just creating a lot of content about the industry, and it was just everywhere, and it no purpose. And then I started creating these we called them content rocks. And so now when I'm creating content, I'm creating it for various reasons. So I'll take the 20 CallRail videos and I want to sell them. So I'm going to sell them somewhere somehow. I haven't created them yet. And then I'm also going to use them as training for my company. And then I'm also using them in this email. And so the same videos live on YouTube. And actually the content I'm going to sell is all going to be fully available on my YouTube channel, but it'll just be in a more organized format. So, but the training component also for my employees internally, I wasn't really thinking about, every time something comes up at ParaCore, I write it down and then I film a video, and then it goes on YouTube, and then it goes in our internal trainual for Chris Ronzio fans out there.
Hey.
My affiliate code is...
We'll put his affiliate code at the bottom of this one. Call them.
Yeah, call them. No, but we do. We feed it in a trainual, and then anyone that's onboarding has all these videos.
Yeah.
So they don't have to go to my YouTube channel and try and figure out the resources. And then long-term vision, I might sell access to that sort of a resource. Yeah.
I was just thinking that. Yeah. So they can go through the training themselves that you've already created.
Yeah.
Smart.
I talked to Veronique about that. So when you do your podcast on Monday, tell her she has to buy it.
Everybody's going to be like, trainual.
Yeah.
It's going to be the trainual podcast by the time we're done.
Yeah.
Right on. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Very cool. I built a course on ClickFunnels at one point, which is a lot of fun, and it's just the training platform is a lot better than training.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the email strategy then. What's your formula to create an email that's impactful and that people are actually sharing, let alone something that people open? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. The last email that I wrote was just very shareable content because it's kind of unique. In that email, I've read 30 minutes a day for the last 3.5 years. And so it was about that ends up being 36 books a year, some 8,000 pages. But this year I stopped doing that. I'm transitioning into a new routine with Wake Up Warrior or whatever. So it was all about the idea of out with the old, in with the new, what got you here won't get you there. And I was sacrificing other parts of my life. So that was just a very personal experience that just happened to be transitioning at that time. And so I found that if I share something that's really personal, that lends itself to a business mindset, I can't tell you how many times I'm with my 3-year-old and I'm like, oh my God, this is something that she's doing reminds me of work or business or employees or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
your 3-year-old reminds you of your employees.
Yeah, they're all sitting out there.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry. No, but so I think for me, my entire purpose behind that content is to provide value to other business owners. And I think a lot of what, and we've interacted on social about this, is that you get the highlight reel on social media, which is so annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. I want to celebrate successes with my entrepreneur friends.
Right.
But like if something's going poorly with me, like I feel like shit. And it's like, even when I know that I'm like doing the work and doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of the content that I share is around like mindset or like, you know, just something about like challenges or whatever, but more personal stuff and more like if someone says to me, I would have never written that in an email, I feel like I've won.
Yeah.
You know, like that feels like a win to me.
That to me is probably one of the biggest battles that I face is just being actually like really transparent about, especially struggles. Like you can be transparent, like you said, about the awesome stuff, you know, or the goofy stuff, but like to actually share like struggles and personal stories that can because the stuff that we all go through is stuff that other people go through. So like to hide it and pretend it doesn't happen is ridiculous. So and like he was saying, he had a couple of posts about like business stuff that were not exactly successes, they were failures. And when I saw it on my feed, I was like, nobody does this. This is amazing. And it was like, I was like, that's shitty and I'm so sorry. But also thank you so much because like it was just so, I was having a rough week. I remember because I was just like, it was the first time I went on social media for like a half a second and I was like, wow, that's like, I'm not the only one. And like it also had like a positive upswing, you know, in it. Like, hey, I'm just sharing to share. And it was just really helpful to me in my life. So I can't
but
even
there wasn't
imagine.
really anything positive coming out of that post though.
I think
it
the positivity was like, hey, I'm just being
Yeah, in the end
real.
I said, if you're having a hard time, I'm right there next to you. But like, it was a shitty post. That was like,
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No, but that's like the thing. Like,
Yeah.
why do you need to like put a lipstick on a pig? Like, it was a shitty post, and so for me, I think that's like valuable.
Yeah.
And so what I've done,
Shitty posts are valuable.
Yeah,
we're gonna
like,
put that
I
on
love-
that's gonna be on the quote card for this episode.
Yeah. So I'll take my email content and then I might repurpose it into social.
Yeah.
So like I'll have one topic for the week, and then that's also been helpful, like conceptually, to not get too many like messages going out all at the same time.
Yeah.
Like as far as my writing and things like that, that's been helpful too.
How much time do you spend a week writing content? Personally, not like a copywriter.
Like writing or just producing content?
Well, let's say
Like
writing for
videos.
emails, because if you're saying that like the stories that you create for your emails are something that you then kind of put to social, like how much time do you spend on just your weekly email?
Yeah, weekly email start to finish is 45 minutes.
Wow.
And that's faster for me.
Yeah.
Like it used to take longer.
Yeah.
It's a 45-minute email. I mean, it's like heavy content. And then the social posts for me with images and writing the post, they're probably 30 minutes a post.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, because to get a good image and write a interesting post, it takes a while.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I was only doing like 2 posts a week that were like that. And, but then video, we do a lot more. So.
Have you tested length of emails? Like how long are your emails generally?
I don't know the exact number of words, but my guess is that they're kind of like a very short blog. I bet they're 600 words.
Okay.
Maybe 500
Great.
words, 600 words.
Yeah, I struggle with that too because it's like if it's too short, are you not giving enough? If it's too long, is anybody gonna pay attention for that long? So
Yeah,
if
I think
it's
Seth
working for
Godin
you.
like sends like a really short one every day or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like thought provoking, but I don't do that. I can't.
Okay, I can't.
There's also the story aspect. Like there's context and like
Right.
I want people to. And my clients get it, so they get to know me better as the owner. And I don't even talk to most of my clients, but they know who I am then.
Yeah.
And I'm just always there.
Well, that
And
puts
I want that relationship.
that puts humanism to your business, and that's literally what everybody is saying in their content. It's like have a story and be human because people want to do business with people.
Yeah.
So, wow, that's awesome. I did not know that. I like that.
Yeah, I'll get you on the list.
Why am I not on your
Oh, if anybody wants to be on the list,
Yeah, where can they opt in?
sign up for Trainual, then sign up for my list. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
No, seriously, where can they sign up for your email list though?
I
'Cause
don't-
I
well,
want your
don't
stories.
even- yeah, I don't have a link right now. It's clients, and if you go to the ParaCore website and you fill out the contact form, that's how you get on the list right now.
Okay.
But I don't have like a legit.
And by the time we go live with this, there will be a link in the show notes that you
there
can
will.
go and get opted into
Yep.
this amazing email list that I'm very excited
Yeah,
to
yeah.
read and share. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to share with the whole wide world? Because the world is watching.
Just watching.
Yeah.
No, those are. I've only been doing content for probably a year and a half or so. Like really focusing on like doing a lot of video and things like that.
Yeah.
So those are just the things I've learned in a year and a half.
So, and with all of like these vast wells of content that you're creating for these other businesses, is that helping relationships with them? Like, how is that working between you and them also?
Yeah, that's a good question. When we created this series originally, we actually reached out to the company and said, hey, we're doing this thing. Do you want to be on it like as a webinar? And so that got us connected with the companies, and unbeknownst did it. I don't remember what happened with CallRail. It didn't happen for some reason. Or we didn't ask them, I don't remember. But as we did more of the videos for the different platforms, now we just have a pretty good working relationship with them. So we write blogs. We're like for CallRail, we're part of their community advisory board.
Cool.
Advisory board. And now we're a CallRail agency partner in their affiliate program, and we're going to be creating more content for them. So it's, I mean, just being able to create relationships with them has been, it's like, I don't know, you're just basically marketing them. Of course they're going to love you. Like, don't market our stuff.
Like Chris Ronzio.
Yeah, like Chris Ronzio and Trainual. I should do a Trainual series.
You should.
Yeah.
You just should. Just start building big business off of this deal.
Off other people. Yeah, not have any of my own stuff.
Well, it's working, so.
Yeah, but that's been really good too. And then even like, so the community advisory panel or council for CallRail, like that's a thing where, you know, we're kind of involved in different beta tests and conversations, and like I contribute on the forum a little bit more, and people will call and they're like, they will literally hire us because of our CallRail expertise. Because they're just like, nobody else like does that.
Yeah.
Like nobody else is like really an expert at this third-party platform.
Right.
You know, like
right.
We're using Unbounce, like I need an expert at Unbounce, and like people don't advertise themselves as experts at platforms a lot of the time.
Right.
I mean, ClickFunnels is an exception.
Sure.
So that's actually worked out really, really well for us.
That's awesome. I know that we went through a lot. Like for me, the email stuff is really helpful because when people think content, like they're always like video or blogs or, you know, just how they're promoting stuff on social media. So that was the first time literally anybody's talked about email, because I don't know how really successful it is for a lot of people. It's just like something they know they have to do. So having it get shared to your own group, inner circle, and come right on
Well, we did like newsletters and all that shit, and like nobody cares about that.
Right.
It's because there's not any value.
Yeah.
Right? And so my entire thing was, how do I stay in front of the people that have reached out to me already? Like these are my leads, like people that have come in on a regular basis. And like the only way that you can do that consistently is through email. Like you can't do it on Facebook because they're not all on Facebook, but they've all given you their email. And basically everyone reads their email. Like I get it, we get a lot of emails, but my open rates are, I don't know, like somewhere between 18 and 25%.
There you go.
And that's a decent number of people opening the email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At what, 800-900 people?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So when I figure out how to grow that email list, I'm going to come back on your podcast and talk about that.
There's going to be real coffee in that mug. And I want to watch you try to drink it. That's going to be amazing. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you. This has been awesome. Thank you very much. It's funny because every time I'm sitting here talking to somebody, like I get more excited about stuff I want to do, and I'm like, it's going to be a challenge for myself with the whole like email campaign thing because I'm really excited to do that. Yeah. Also, we're going to become an expert in somebody else's stuff. That's happening.
Do it.
So do it. Awesome. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
You guys have a great week, and we will talk to you or see you next time.
Thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Content Coalition. Now, whether you're listening or watching, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel and to whatever platform you're listening to it on, because you're not going to want to miss out on the incredible things that I'm learning with these amazing content marketing pros. So make sure you subscribe, and we will talk to you next week.